Historical Association presents the Log Church story. The original log church was built by the pioneers of the Norway Lake area. In the summer of 1867, Pastor Thomas Johnson from Norseland visited the Norway Lake settlement and baptized 55 children in 3 days. On June 1st, 1868, it was decided to build a log church. Each family was asked to contribute a log. The church was completed in December of the same year. It was 30 feet long and 26 feet wide. In 1869, Reverend Lars Marcus was called as pastor and served the congregation for 10 years that the log church was used. During that time, he performed 490 baptisms, 142 confirmations, 72 marriages, 77 burials, and 125 worship services. The church and the cemetery were then abandoned. In 1974, a stone memorial monument was erected on the original cemetery site. In the fall of 1996, a small group from the Norway Lake area met and decided to build a replica of the Log Church. On a wintry day in January of 1997, Pastor Joel News views the site adjoining the cemetery, upon which it was hoped the log church would be built. In the fall of 1997, oak and ash trees were harvested for the building of the log church. Volunteer workers trimming branches from the trees. Some of the group who worked on the project on a cold November day. Removing bark from the logs was hard work involving hand tooth. A pile of logs ready for winter. The site for the log church when spring arrived. Footings were poured below the frost line. Laying the corner foundation blocks. The foundation is completed. A stonemason, Mr. Rees, laying fieldstone to resemble the original foundation. Mr. Willis unloading logs at church site. Final trimming of logs after winter drying. Here comes the first log. The first log in place. Note steel rods to anchor it to foundation. Ed Huseby, chainsaw artist, scribing a log. 4 tiers of log in place. Notice corners and how logs are made to fit, shedding water and requiring no nails. The last log in the walls being put into place. Ash roofing boards, dried over winter and ready for use. Making the ash wood rafters. Rafters completed after a hard day's work. On a Sunday morning, putting the rafters in place with lots of help. The last rafter is in place before noon. View of rafters in place and gable ends completed. Laying of roof boards. Tar paper and shake shingles applied late in fall. Log church ready for winter. Evening sunset. As darkness falls, light lingers in the log church. Spring arrives and sod squares await Memorial Day volunteers. Youth group from local parish laying sod. Watering sod after a hot and windy Memorial Day. Summer saw window frames made and installed, chinking between logs inside and outside, log benches made by Wendell Austin, the altar from West Lake Lutheran and the lectern from First Lutheran, restored altar painting from East Lutheran and frame from First Lutheran, head of Christ detail from altar painting, organ from First Lutheran, memorial and gift plaques remembering the departed and thanking the living. On Dedication Sunday, August 22nd, 1999, the Horse Patrol was the first to arrive. Bus transportation was provided from First Lutheran parking lot. Buggy ride for the pastor for Sunday morning Norwegian service. Planting the Millennium Oak. Raising the American and Norwegian flags. Interior of Log Church as service is to begin. Interior of worship center in adjoining tent. Dedication of cemetery grave markers. Dedication of the old Log Church Memorial, listing the 6 daughter congregations in the area: East Norway Lake, First, Hope, South Lake Johanna, Munson Lake, and West Lake Lutheran churches. View of people beside the Log Church. View of people in tent area. Estimated total attendance of about 500 for the day. Christmas in the Log Church is held the first Sunday in Advent each year. Another event is the annual 17th of May fundraiser for the Log Church. Good food and entertainment are a part of the evening. Here we see some Norwegians dressed for the occasion. Entertainment this evening was provided by the Martin family. Another project of the Norway Lake Lutheran Historical Association is the Norwegian class. 2 8-week sessions are held each year with average attendance of close to 30. Class ends with a coffee hour. One comment often heard, "I don't know how much I learned, but we have a lot of fun." From time to time, items are added that enhance our worship services. Here is a ceramic communion set with chalice, paten, and individual communion cups. A Hardanger altar covering graces the communion table. Each year, an anniversary program is held on the 3rd Sunday in August. It begins with a communion service in the morning that includes a children's sermon and a packed log church overflowing into an adjoining tent. Major recent physical improvements include the drilling of a well. Here we see the successful conclusion of the drilling process in the year 2000. Another recent project was the completion of Marcia's garden in memory of David and Marcia Hansen. The southeast corner of the lot was set aside and outlined with a split wood fence. A memorial rock was put in place. Shrubs were planted on the perimeter of the lot. A grass border installed and watered. In the summer of 2002, the wildflowers were in full bloom. Another project in the year 2001 was moving the Peterson cabin to the Log Church. Here we see it on its location on the former Walter Peterson farm. Here is the cabin on its way to the Log Church site. A block foundation and cement floor had been poured by Ed Huseby, Mark Rees, and Wendell Austin. The Log Church is being put into place at its new location, where it will be used as an interpretive center. Work is begun on the log cabin. It is planned that the building will be handicapped, accessible, with toilet storage and display areas for artifacts. Here we see volunteer workmen adding bracing to the interior roof. The most recent project completed in the summer of 2002 was the installation of an oak slab walk in the cemetery area. This walk will be dedicated in memory of Marvin Hauge, who served as vice president of the board from its beginning. On June 1st, 1867, Pastor Thomas Johnson of Northland Lutheran Church, pictured here, arrived at the Norway Lake settlement and baptized 22 children at the Even Railson farm. In commemoration of this event, Pastor Joel News dedicated a walk of 135 miles in March of 2002. Here he is joined by Ed Huseby for the last mile of the walk. Here Pastor News knocks at the door of the Even Railson farm home. The walk was concluded with a service of celebration at the Log Church on June 1st, 2002. Following the service, refreshments were enjoyed at the Log Church site. View of the Log Church with the Peterson cabin in the background in the summer of 2002. The Norway Lake Lutheran Historical Association seeks to preserve the religious and cultural heritage of pioneer days for coming generations. We invite you to join us in this effort.